After a long wait, Microsoft 365 Copilot is out of preview and is now available to some organisations that were not part of its early access program. While the purchase stipulations currently make it fairly difficult for the vast majority of businesses to buy now, we can probably expect that over the coming weeks and months we will learn more about the roadmap to get Copilot to more users, including those with small business and even consumer Microsoft 365 licenses. Over the last few weeks, I've had the opportunity to try Microsoft 365 Copilot, and while this is not yet a product that has complete parity with all of the demos Microsoft has shown over the last 8 months, it is an amazing product that, in my opinion at least, will be transformative for many, both those who have become used to using generative AI day to day and those who haven't touched it yet. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 Microsoft 365 Copilot features I've been most impressed by and found myself using the most. I've set this all up in a demo account, so everything you're seeing is either publicly accessible information or content created specifically for demo purposes. For the purposes of this demo, I've created some data for an employee who works for an imaginary toy manufacturer creating a product called the Fabulously Fun Spaceship. The app where I've probably used Microsoft 365 Copilot the most so far is in Word. I do a lot of writing, whether it be social media content, training documents, project proposals and related. And for months I've been using generative AI in this process, mainly to help me frame out ideas and as an assistant with editing. I'm already experienced in the workflow of using AI and checking its work, but bringing content into a platform like ChatGPT for it to work on or review is a pain. And I honestly don't find Bing Chat Enterprise as effective in this kind of workload as ChatGPT. So when you open a new document in Word with Copilot, you get this opportunity to describe what it is you want to write, and Copilot will generate it for you. And you can just give it a general prompt like create a summary of how to write a successful social media post as a set of bullet points. And it goes ahead and it pulls that together in the same way that you will have come to expect from something like ChatGPT. And then you can go ahead and either keep the content that it creates, or you can go ahead and change it a little based on what you want. You can also use Copilot to work with other documents that you have in Microsoft 365. So here I'm asking it to create a summary of 3 different documents I have on the Fabulously Fun Spaceship project. And you can see that Copilot has taken those 3 documents and created a summary of them. I'm just going to keep this content here. So outside of drafting content, I can also open my Copilot sidebar. And one of the most important things to know about Microsoft 365 Copilot is everywhere you can use it pretty much, it's going to give you guidance as to how to use it. So you can see here, it tells me what I can do from this pane and gives me options. You could go beyond that and you can try different things, but it's there to get you started. So this is very much a product that anyone, whether they've used AI before or not, can start to understand from day one. So I'm just going to ask it to summarize this document. And you can see it provides a summary. You're able to copy and paste this into your document if you want to, and it breaks it down. So you have all the functionality that you might want and you've been using from a product like ChatGPT in the past, all sitting there within Word. Now, without Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can still do many of these tasks, but they just might require a few more clicks. But between ChatGPT's data analysis capability and the Bing Chat Enterprise sidebar, there's nothing radically new here. It just comes in a neat and easy to access package. Just remember that if you are using AI tools from a range of vendors, you need to be careful about privacy and the protection of your data. So if you open an Office document in Edge, you can just use the Bing sidebar to use Bing Chat Enterprise to analyze the document. The thing that you can't do that you can do in Copilot is that you're able to include information from elsewhere. If you wanted to do that in Bing Chat, then you would have to copy and paste that information. In ChatGPT, I do have the option of including files, so I can give ChatGPT a bunch of documents and have it provide a summary based on the content of those documents. And this actually works pretty well. I think that ChatGPT has really improved its ability to analyze text documents since the first time I looked at this under the data analysis function a couple of months ago. And you can see here that it provides a decent outline of the content of the documents that have been put together. I think that Microsoft 365 Copilot in Word shows us the benefits of integrating the AI directly into the tool you use every day. Being able to do everything in one place doesn't necessarily mean it's more effective than with existing apps, or even that it's that much quicker. But jumping between apps and trying out new things is something a small subset of knowledge workers might do. And for everyone else, to feel accessible, the feature just has to be there and work without any complication. Microsoft 365 Copilot allows those interested in generative AI to access it in a slightly easier and more straightforward way, but it also allows everyone else to accrue the benefits of generative AI without having to invest effort or brain power into learning too much about using the technology. Thanks for watching. If the content of this video is useful to you, please do leave it a like so we can share it with the maximum number of interested people. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel and would like to see more like this, please remember to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll know as soon as I release another video. Thanks. I don't use PowerPoint as much now as I have in the past, but for anyone who does need to use PowerPoint, and particularly I think for those who have an occasional need to use PowerPoint, Microsoft 365 Copilot will be transformative. This is probably the app where Microsoft 365 Copilot has wowed me the most and demonstrated most starkly how integration into an existing productivity app can set its capabilities apart from a more general tool like ChatGPT. In PowerPoint, everything with Copilot is done from the sidebar, and just like in Word, we can give it a general prompt and expect it to generate some content for us. And within a couple of minutes, here we go, we've got it's actually a 6-slide deck that we've got here. But we do have a title slide, we have some information about social media, we've got images, and it's fairly nicely designed. I mean, you would probably play around with this a bit, but it's a starting point. Now, start again with a blank presentation. We can do exactly the same thing again, but referencing a file. Adding a file in PowerPoint isn't as slick as it is in Word, so you just paste a link in. But now I can go ahead and ask it to create a presentation based on my content in Microsoft 365. And within a couple of minutes, you can see that we've got this. It probably took, 30, 45 seconds to create this, but we've got this space-themed image. You can see that they've gone through and tried to create a presentation that's kind of designed for this. I mean, not all of these images make perfect sense. There are some design issues with this, but in general, this is a good starting point that is certainly based upon the content that we've shared with PowerPoint. Now, on the basics of what we know generative AI can do, like text generation and image generation, we're not seeing anything mind-blowing here. But seeing it all happen in the app where you can directly then go on to edit and perfect your presentation is amazing. This is the type of work that some of us have to do infrequently and can sometimes be slow to get started with. And for a lot of users, remembering exactly how to do this can be a struggle. This eliminates that struggle. Can you create PowerPoint presentations with ChatGPT? Well, yes, but it's a different beast entirely. So I started with the same file and pretty much exactly the same prompt in ChatGPT. The only difference is I'm going to ask it specifically to output the presentation as a PowerPoint file that I can download. And ChatGPT gives you a link to download your presentation. And you can see that while ChatGPT is able to create a file that you can download, the output is very, very different to what you're seeing from PowerPoint. This certainly isn't going to be an app I'm using every day with Copilot, but I think this is the best example currently of how having Microsoft 365 Copilot can utterly transform the workflow of using an Office app without having to deviate too far from what we already know. For avid and infrequent users of PowerPoint alike, I think this type of power may transform how this app gets used. When Microsoft 365 Chat got announced, initially being called Business Chat, I was a bit confused as to why this was needed. Copilot was going to be in all the apps, right? So why this extra add-on? But in using Copilot, the case for M365 Chat and its usefulness becomes really clear. While Copilot is pretty much ever-present across Microsoft 365, each of the experiences inside each of the apps is specifically tailored to the capabilities of that app. So while you have a sidebar experience in Word, you can't ask it something about your emails, for example. In some ways, I think this is a weakness of Microsoft 365 Copilot, as it forces you to use the tools as Microsoft has intended you to, rather than how you might think about work. For example, I love the Copilot text generation features and interface in Word, but I actually normally do a lot of my writing in OneNote. But that capability is missing from OneNote, despite it being an equally rich text editor in many respects as Word is. The place where most of the threads of Copilot come together is Microsoft 365 Chat, where you can interrogate, but not create in the same way, the data that lives across your Microsoft 365 account. This can be accessed on the web, in your browser sidebar, though confusingly not your Windows Copilot sidebar, and in Teams. So here I'm using M365 Chat in Teams, and I can prompt it with something like summarise my recent emails about the fabulously fun spaceship project. And it gives me a summary of those recent emails. But I can go beyond this and continue this chat with M365 Chat. So I can go ahead and then ask M365 Chat, does the project overview document that I have give the information that these other people need in an email response? So given that this does give them the information that they need, I'm going to go ahead and ask M365 Chat to help me even more. And so I'm going to ask M365 Chat to draft an email that summarises the information they want from the document, but without sharing the file. And then if this works for me, I can just copy this content from here and bring it over to Outlook to send it, or I can continue this chat with M365 Chat to get exactly the information that I need. I found myself using this capability much more than I thought I would, and to get some quick information or to catch up on a topic, it's great. I do wish it was better integrated into the content creation experiences in the apps, and it would be great if each of the sidebars in all of the apps gave you Microsoft 365 Chat capabilities alongside their app-specific tooling. This feature set, sitting on top of all your Microsoft 365 data, is truly where Copilot sets itself apart. It just needs to be a little better tied together, and from what we've seen, that's definitely the path Microsoft is on. I've really only touched the tip of the iceberg of Microsoft 365 Copilot in these examples. There's a lot more to cover and a lot more to experiment with, but so far, have I got enough value from this that it seems worth a $30 a month investment? Certainly. It's not perfect. The AI has exactly the same types of foundational limitations we know about from Bing Chat Enterprise or ChatGPT, but the integration with your data and into the apps you're using make it a far easier thing to access. This is a great product for those who are already benefiting from generative AI day to day, but it might be an even better product for those who have not got round to using AI yet. Being packaged together in the apps you know, using your unique data, all without having to think about it too much, brings the power of AI to absolutely anyone. There's a decent amount of the vision that Microsoft has outlined in the last 8 months that isn't entirely here yet, but not in a way that makes Microsoft 365 Copilot feel lacking as it is today. It's exciting to imagine that Microsoft's intent is to make this even better and more integrated than it already is, and it's already pretty much good overall with some great, and the more aspects of the product that edge into that area of being great, the more this will be an add-on that every knowledge worker will want and need to achieve the most in their work. Did Microsoft end up sorely lacking in its communications about its release of Microsoft 365 Copilot? Well, yes. Has it disappointed many people in its user community who it had succeeded in making the most excited about Microsoft 365 Copilot? Yes, on that too. But despite this, is Microsoft 365 Copilot a product that will likely be so revolutionary that these issues should be allowed to fall into the background of our discussions? I think so. This is a product that just a year ago would have seemed like science fiction, but is designed in a way that should make it familiar and accessible to anyone who is able to use a Microsoft 365 app. ChatGPT, Claude, Midjourney, these are equally amazing products from a technology perspective, but Microsoft 365 Copilot will be the product that brings those productivity benefits of AI, not just to those seeking them out, but to everyone in your business. Are you still excited about getting Microsoft 365 Copilot? Are you going to wait until it's available to you, or are you now looking for something else? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching this video through till the end. Until the next one, bye bye.